to find the mean here, we need to first think, well, what do they mean? So if I'm not sure what they mean by mean, and when I say they, I'm talking about the authors of these questions, I could always type in something like using the exact language. So it says, what is the mean? So I'm just going to type that in. What is the mean? I'm just trying to give you some skills or suggestions for using like your Chromebook to find some solutions in case there's a time where, I can't reply to you when you need it. But always, I love Google Images really for math related items because I can do a quick, scroll and get an idea of what things seem to be going on, and then I can find a definition that I like. So in all these cases, what's happening is it says the sum of data points and then a fraction bar. So I'm looking over here. I'm not so sure if you can see my mouse. So it says sum of data points, and you're going to divide that sum by the number of data points. In order to do that with the situation we have in your screenshot, we need to find the mean of 771, 766, 767, 771, 766, 783, 777, and 783. In saying those out loud, I noticed already that I said 771 twice. And then I also said 783 twice. These two numbers would be the mode or the most common. In this case, we're asked for the mean or the average. So the mean and the average essentially represent the same thing. Okay. But by typing in a different word, I get an entirely different result in my search. So even the very detail of the type of word you type in for searching math concepts changes significantly what you'll be able to see. So still, we're adding all the numbers up and then dividing by how many numbers we added together. So finding the sum and dividing by the number of terms in that sum, or the number of addends, or the number of, in this case, 3-digit numbers in the 700s. Okay, so I could sit here and calculate it by hand, but I'm not going to because I have a sheet tool that I am completely confident in using. So I'm going to create a new spreadsheet. It's a good habit to name the spreadsheet. And I want to find the mean of these numbers. That didn't help. 771. So I'll go into my spreadsheet and type them in. 766, 767, 771, 766, 783, 777, 783. Double check that I typed them in right. 771, 766, and I really should make this bigger. Let's see. Open with Cami. Sorry. I hope in this time you've attempted to calculate the mean on your own while I'm trying to make these work. Okay. So 771, 766, 767, 771, 766, 783, 777, 783. Okay. Now I need the total, so I can type in sum and open a parenthesis. Remember, I have to type an equal sign. If I'm using a function in a spreadsheet, I want to type an equal sign to indicate to the computer that that's what I want to do. And look, this is the first suggestion. Sum of cells A1 to A8. And yes, that is what I want to do. So the sum, and you want to label your calculation so that you know what you did. I want to count how many terms I added together, so I'm going to use that command count. It might seem obvious that there were 8 because it only went up to the 8th row. So that's the number of terms in the sum. And if I divide those two, so equals the sum divided by is just a slash, the button next to the shift key, the count, that's my average or my mean. Furthermore, I could have just typed equals average and gotten the same result there. Now, if you want to just make sure you understand what this looks like, it's always nice to visualize it. So go to Insert Chart. And these are very, very similar numbers. These numbers are very close. The mean is 773. So maybe it would be helpful to zoom in. So I might go to the vertical axis, minimum, the minimum is 760, yeah, and maximum, see, this helps me see the differences way better. Okay, so now when I look at if I can do, never mind. If I copy this, let's see. Copy chart, insert, drawing, paste. If I draw a line to represent the average, which is 773, this is 770. So in between is 772.5, a little bit more is 773. So right about here. And if you look, this is a bar graph. I'm giving you a basic summary of everything we've been doing in class, but this is a bar graph, and it just gives us individual scores. They're not in any particular order. I'll label that. That's something you could include on your poster for class. But now if I make a histogram with these instead, maybe the mean might make a little more sense. So instead of a column chart or a bar graph, I can scroll down and do a histogram and customize it to change the bin size to something small maybe. Okay, so I have 3 modes. So I missed one of the other modes, I guess, which is 700. Doesn't matter. Okay, 70. It's hard to see. Let's see. I'm going on and on. You could have if you can turn the video off if you're no longer interested, but there's 3 values that are repeated twice. So we have 777, 771. We have 766 and 766. And 783 and 783. So there's 3 modes here. So earlier when I just saw those modes earlier, I missed one. But these bin sizes don't really look very, doesn't really help me see the whole picture very much. So I'm going to make the bin size bigger. So you can change the bin size. This is something that you could include on your final poster tomorrow. To 5. That gives us this idea that it's like more scores towards the minimum. And if we copy the chart, we can plot the average. So and then insert drawing, paste, give it a title, histogram. And we can plot the mean with a vertical line, and the mean is 773. So it's going to be, again, like right about here. So that's the mean. This question that we have on iExcel, it's just very, it's asking you just for a number, a statistic. And what this mean, the statistic that they're asking you for, is used in situations like we have that we're looking at in class regarding all the first 25 scores of students in our class. And it helps to give a single number to represent an entire group. And it's the typical number that's represented by the center. And in this case, the mean is sort of to the left of the graph because of all of the values that are causing this first bar to be so tall. But the mean, median, and mode all represent different things. So if we save and close this, I expect that the median is going to be different than 773 because the data is not very symmetric like a mountain, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's sort of like an inverted mountain. So let's see. I wonder what your guess was. And then 771. So I was wrong. It is pretty close because it is kind of like an upside down mountain. It is sort of symmetric. I could imagine that if it was perfectly symmetric, it would have an additional bar here that would make it perfectly symmetric, right? And then it would be way off center, but because that's not there, it is sort of centered. Okay, I went way over what you were asking, but I hope this helped, and thanks for asking for help, and have a great evening.